have let's see what else is going on in the world of sports. What I want to touch upon is the intersection of sports, entertainment, music, as well as now technology, right? Because right now with technology, people are really, merging because at this present moment, we're looking at this whole aspect of a new digital world, this whole augmented reality. And this has been, what I want to share with you guys is they've been talking about this for at least 8 to 10 years about this whole augmented reality and VR. As a matter of fact, there's a man by the name of John Doerr, who is the one of the CEOs of a venture capital firm called Kleiner and Perkins, and he did an interview that I watched many moons ago where he said the three areas that he wanted to focus on was VR, education, and social media. Well, all three of those areas right now are booming from an investment standpoint, from where we are, this is where it's at. And so, what I want to share with you is a gentleman that comes from that space where he's really intersecting all three. He's the CEO of HelloScribe, an automated writing and brainstorming platform. He's been a creative director, copywriter, and brand strategist for over 15 years, where he has gone from being a man on the front to now being behind the scenes and utilizing the technology that I just mentioned, the AR, the VR, and the AI. In addition to that, he uses artificial intelligence to change the way professionals communicate and come up with great ideas from brainstorming to writing proposals, ads, pitches, and other written communication. His mission is to help people be more productive and successful by taking back their time, making it easier to achieve a work-life balance using AI. He's married and enjoys spending time with his daughter, playing games, reading books together, making up stories, because he is a storyteller, and exploring museums and sites in the Tampa Bay area. When he's not working or spending time with his family, you can find him reading something interesting, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, or just constantly thinking and being a futurist about how technology can be used to improve the lives of others. He's an avid music fan who also enjoys running and cooking. And when it comes down to cooking, he's all about that Asian, Caribbean fusion and Italian cuisine. Let's welcome to the show Mr. Paul Thompson, CEO of Hello Scribe. What it do, brethren?
Yeah, big up, big up, big up.
Big up. Awesome, awesome. Well, before we get started, man, tell me a little bit about how you and your family fared at COVID and how you doing now.
Well, thanks for asking. We have been very fortunate. We're a small family, so we were able to work from home for most of the time and, keep ourselves sort of away from the madness.
Mm-hmm.
We were also able during COVID to sort of have time to rethink the way that we were doing things. And Hello Scribe is one of the products of the past 2 years that we came up with, after being hunkered down, trying to figure out, where things going, what should we do? And yeah, so we've been blessed, I must say.
Excellent, excellent. So share with me a little bit about what made you shift. Like you said, it was during COVID that you came up with Hello Scribe, and how's that journey been on a financial tip?
Right. Well, if I have to, if I have to start from somewhere, I would have to start from where I started many years ago, because it's a natural progression as opposed to an overnight thing, right? As I'm sure you would appreciate, every sports star, every investor, everybody has to start somewhere. And so my start was very young. I mean, I always loved books and I always loved technology. I traveled the world before I started to travel. So, you know, when you allow your imagination to run wild, you start thinking about a lot of things, even things that weren't in existence when you were thinking about them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had the good fortune of attending a good university in Jamaica, where I'm originally from, where I completed a degree in English. And I had the good fortune of meeting my mentor,
I'm
who was
sorry.
75 years old at the time.
Can you repeat that, because it started to fade in on us? Paul? Oh, you are frozen. You gotta love the Mercury retrograde. We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by. Paul, are you there? Can you hear me? Oh, it's not on his end. All right. Oh, he signed off. He'll be right back on again. That's the beautiful thing about technology. It's good. It's great when it works. But when it doesn't, it's a different story. But what we're going to do to improvise is that we're going to go on break, because we got commercials and we have bills to pay. So once again, this is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. See you after the break.
St. Petersburg, Florida, get ready. DAT Entertainment LLC presents A Night to Remember, Saturday, June the 4th at 7 p.m. at the Florida National Guard Armory, 3601 38th Avenue South, St. Petersburg, Florida, 33711. And this will be a show you won't forget, featuring the Manhattans with Gerald Austin.
I had to meet you here today. Told the fellas I'm not going out tonight.
Award-winning comedian Chris the Mayor Thomas.
I saw this little white girl the other day. She said, "You have some big lips. I wish I had lips like yours." I said, "Bitch, hold still."
And R&B soul singer A. Renee.
At the casino. Let's go back to the way things used to be.
Advance admission $60. Door price is $75. VIP $90. And this is a BYOB affair. You can also reserve tickets now at Eventbrite. For ticket information, contact JT the Dancing DJ at 813-412-0435. And for more info, call 727-486-3702. DAT Entertainment LLC presents A Night to Remember, Saturday, June the 4th, with a Manhattan featuring Gerald Austin.
Touch Radio is smooth soul.
Rocking your radio on the sounds of soul.
Playing your favorite R&B in Touch Radio.
You've been injured, you deserve help from an attorney that knows how to handle your injury claim. This is attorney Clinton Paris from the law office of Clinton Paris. For over a decade, I worked for insurance companies, and now I use that knowledge and experience to help people that have been injured. For a free consultation, call me, attorney Clinton Paris, at 813-413-7924. That's 813-413-7924, or at parislawoffice.com. At the law office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being hurt. Offices, Riverview.
Power Moves. We back only here on In Touch News Radio, reality radio where everyone is a star. We are back, And currently, my guest should be also coming back, but he is having, or we're somehow, somewhere, or disconnecting. But what's great about one of the positive attributes of the experience of this pandemic for the past 2 years is the advent of many of individuals who realize that they can really enjoy their life and find their time back, focus on a work-life balance by coming up with ideas to generate income while they can still provide for their family, enjoy the good life, especially here in the Tampa Bay area. And that's why I wanted to make sure that I brought in Mr. Paul Thompson. It was interesting just to share with you a conversation I had today. I was speaking to one of my associates in the entertainment industry, an entertainment lawyer, as a matter of fact, and we were talking about how, man, so many artists and owners of catalog are just selling their publishing. And we were talking about how even right now, folks are selling their publishing for between 20 times their earnings, which is incredible. I mean, so if a person is getting in their catalog music-wise because of streaming, let's say in $1 million, they're going to get $25 million. $20 to $25 million worth of revenue right up front from these investors, which is private equity firms, Wall Street, because Wall Street really sees the streaming as a utility. And that's the reason why, between these podcasts and radio shows and things of that nature, people are taking advantage of it. So I bring this to your attention because a person like Mr. Paul Thompson, who created his platform especially for folks that are copywriters, folks that do ads, think about it, even jingles, coming up with jingles, and you own the publishing, and it makes it easier for you to put that out there, how much revenue that you could potentially make once you create a publishing company. So with that being said, Mr. Thompson is back, and Paul, you were mentioning something about when you was in the Caribbean, somebody was 75 years old. We lost you here and there. Can you kind of rewind and come back again?
Sure. The evolution must be televised. So
that's right.
Our search could stop this. So I was telling you that I met this gentleman when he was 75 years old, and I was his apprentice for 10 years. Mm-hmm. He taught me everything he knew about business, about the business of marketing, about the business of managing teams, et cetera, et cetera. And he encouraged me to look farther into the future. And he told me one day, Paul, one day you're going to make a lot of money on the internet, right? And I believed it, right? Mm-hmm. And so because of that encouragement, support from my family, I decided to go deeper, right? So often we in our community tend to be consumers of technology, but not necessarily creators of technology. Mm-hmm. Or creators of the platforms that we use. So we go on and we make Instagram popular, we make Snapchat popular. Our culture drives the popularity of most of these platforms, right? Whether Facebook, TikTok, you name it, right? But most times we don't own any of these platforms. So in my little corner of the world, I wanted to help to change that, to say, okay, we can also build our own technology, not only for our own people, but for the world, in the same way that when the creators of Instagram or Facebook are thinking, they're thinking of platforms to affect the world. So currently there are maybe 25 million marketing and PR professionals across the world. That's a conservative number,
Mm-hmm.
right? And every day they have to create all the brands that you like, all the ads that you see on TV, the ads that you click on the internet, all of the messages that you hear, the events that you watch, all of these things that happen. If you're a sports fan, right? All of the people who do the production, who do the halftime shows, who do the ads, the halftime Super Bowl ads, all of those people, there's an entire industry around that, right? And multi-billion-dollar industry around that, right? And what drives this industry are folks like myself, copywriters, creative directors, film producers, event coordinators, all of these kinds of people, right? Who have to put these things together. The challenge is across the board, 52% of all professionals face some kind of burnout at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. It's an overwhelming amount of work that they have to do, right? And many times they don't get paid for overtime. That might surprise you, right? And so there's a lot of work involved. Even coming up with the ideas, you'd be surprised to know that whenever you see a Super Bowl ad on TV, they may have to go through 500 different iterations before they came up with the one that they wanted to show on TV, right? So there's a lot of grueling work that happens behind the scenes in order to get that out. What we're saying is that having understood and worked in and seen, being a part of, produced myself, I understand the work that it takes. And my goal with our company is to say, look, if we can take some of the burden off some of these guys, maybe they're able to produce more. But not only that, maybe you'll have more independent agencies, more independent freelancers, more independent smart people who could come up with their own ideas, more independent film producers and copywriters and PR people and all kinds of things. And so you make the industry more competitive. And by that way, you contribute, right? So we see an opportunity there. And from a financial perspective, in terms of our own trajectory, I mean, we bootstrapped our company. We, took, whatever savings we had and, whatever we could muster up, but a lot of creativity too, because I had a lot of skills over time. I'd acquired a lot of design skills and copywriting skills and coding skills. And, I was always immersed in the technology. I was a research assistant in college, so I had a very good understanding of how to read research papers and how to interpret research papers into real life. And I'm always trying to be at the tip of the technology. And so when we saw the opportunity, I said, listen, babe, it's my wife. I said, hey, babe, we have to go into this. And so we just went 10 toes down and we did it. And I'm happy to say that we're growing in interest. More folks are signing on to the platform every day, trying it out, signing up, and we're gaining traction every day. And I was so happy to meet you. And when you told me about, what you do and the people who you're associated with and the intersection between sports and finance and technology, I'm saying, okay, these are the kinds of tools that will become useful. And so that's our intention, to contribute to this whole new thing that's happening, because it's a whole new thing that's happening. There are 4 billion people on the internet today, right? There's 7 billion people in the world, but every day somebody new comes onto the internet. So there are millions and millions of people on the internet. More importantly, it's becoming easier and easier for people to transact over the internet, right? So we take it for granted that because we live in the United States, we have access to credit cards, et cetera, et cetera. That's not the case in a lot of the world, but it's becoming more so. And what that means is that you're creating a whole new global consumer class who will need all sorts of different things, including software like ours, right? And so we want to tap.
So hold on one second, because what I'm curious about is, I like the way you're framing your story in terms of where the opportunity is for your patrons of your business.
Right.
What I'm curious to find out is, how much money is available for you to potentially earn in this industry that you're doing with this startup?
Well, the potential is massive, and let me give you a context. Um, the technology that we have implemented just became on stream maybe a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
There are more than 300 companies today who are in this space from all over the world. So this is a growing business that is growing at about 30% per year as of 2019, right? So
Right.
it's growing exponentially. It's simple math. If you have a platform where 1 million people use it and pay you $29 a month, that's 29 million bucks per month.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? At 29 million bucks per month, you almost have a $250 million business for the year, right? Per year.
Mm-hmm.
That's just conservative, right? And so there are pockets of opportunity on the internet. A lot of these things that you see on the internet, very small components of what we do, are actually multi-million-dollar businesses. So for example, when you go online and you sign up for something, there's a whole industry among of user authentication. There's a whole industry around it. There's a whole industry among in payments, PayPal and Stripe and all these things. A whole industry around it. There's a whole industry around freelancing, Upwork and all these guys, right? So there are a lot of micro industries even within these larger. So when we say AI, there's a whole lot of micro industries within the technology that are multi-million-dollar opportunities, right? It's just for persons to see them early on enough, test out the technology enough, but have the guts to go in. Because if you don't go in early and you don't learn fast, then the opportunity misses you, right? And so, MySpace came out in 2005, 2006, thereabouts, right? And the whole world was talking about MySpace, right? And we thought MySpace was going to be the end all and be all of the social media thing. Little did we know that just on the horizon, 3 years later, there was this thing called Facebook. And today, Facebook and all of its affiliates have over 3 billion users across the world, transacting millions of dollars every day and paying millions of dollars in ads, advertisers do, reaching millions of eyeballs every day, right? So the opportunity is there once you're able to get in early, find the opportunities and be able to take the risk. And in our community, we're looking for capitalists, venture capitalists who have the guts to take on these ventures. A lot of the challenges that we face. I'm sorry, I'm going on. You could cut me when I'm going on too much.
Mm-hmm.
One of the challenges we face is that we're not able to access capital in the way that many other communities are able to access capital.
All right. So I want to pause right there. Right? So how long ago have you started this company?
We started officially, we registered our company in October 2019. We first started as an agency and then we transitioned into the software building business. So we've been building our software for about a year now, right? And we officially launched our final version in March of this year.
All right, so you launched your final version in March of this year.
Right.
So you took the risk of a nice paying job and you told your wife, we're going to do this. This is it, right? The opportunity is to be at least $250 million company in revenue,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
And so the biggest challenge for you as an African American or really a Caribbean American, right, is the access to capital. Mm-hmm. So how long have you been here in the Tampa Bay area?
My wife has been here for 10 years. I've been here for about 5 years in the Tampa Bay area.
5 years. Okay. And so where are you trying to source your capital? Have you raised any money?
Well, we've not had any luck so far in raising money. We've reached out to a number of VC startup. We've been part of startup accelerators. We've reached out to a lot of folks who've spoken with things with investors of varying kinds. But we're still in the process. In fact, we're actively fundraising at the moment. So we have investor meetings set up and all of that. But it's more fundamental than that, because at VC level, they're looking for, okay, do you have a lot of traction? How many customers do you have? How much revenue are you making? And et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right?
Right.
And so when you go into those conversations, you have to be sure that your numbers line up, right? But at the very before that, the pre-seed stage, the idea stage, I'm convinced that a lot more of our people have a lot of idea stage companies that just can't get funded for one reason or another. So there are guys who have great credentials and they may be able to go in and on a napkin, they're able to get a $2 million investment just because of their network and who they know,
Right.
Somebody who doesn't have that access or that network might not have that leisure, or might not have that good fortune, right? So they have to go and they have to muscle up and they have to build in and they got to show you and say, here, this is what I have. This is what I've done, but I can't go any further unless you help me, because this is the opportunity we're going after. We need more of those people who are going to believe in the young entrepreneurs, believe in the innovators, believe in the self-starters, believe in these people and fund them at early stages. So when we go into VC rooms, they're not, we don't have a pitch deck to show, oh, we have 100,000 revenue this month. We don't. You know what I mean? We're just getting started, right? It costs us $2, $3 to acquire a customer, right? If you're going to cost you $3, you're going to spend $25 in ads to get one single customer, right? So when you start to add that up, it costs money to get eyeballs, right? And so you have to have some serious people behind you who could see the vision that you have and be willing to support it.
I love this. I love this. So hold that thought, because we got to pay some bills, and we gonna dig a little bit deeper, because this is very important for our listeners who are looking to get into the VC space, that are Black and brown, to understand what the fight is like. So once again, this is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. See you guys to the break.
We're playing your favorite old school. Today's R&B. With a smooth touch of jazz. You're listening to In Touch Radio.
By now, we're all aware of the dangers of COVID-19. Like others with existing health issues, cancer patients are at a high risk due to their compromised condition. If you are newly diagnosed with cancer, your care likely can't wait. Moffitt Cancer Center is the best place for your cancer concerns and to provide guidance to help you plan your next steps. We're here for you. Call 1-888-456-2839 or go to moffitt.org/here for you.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
All right. We are back. Once again, this is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. we are here with Mr. Paul Thompson of Hello Scribe AI. And hold on one second. Let's make sure we get his video on and popping. Here we go. So Paul, you know, you've been sharing with us the challenges that you've had in raising capital. You know, the fact that it's not as if you have access to capital on a pre-seed phase stage of the game. And, you know, there's companies like the Cultural Leadership Fund. Are you familiar with them?
I'm not.
The Cultural Leadership Fund is led by Chris Lyons with Andreessen and Horowitz. And it's the fund is with Kevin Durant, Shonda Rhimes, Kevin Hart, Jay-Z, Nas. They all put money into this fund to help Black and brown people with Andreessen Horowitz. The event that we were at, there was a lady there, Brex, except that she's not necessarily with idea type funding folks, but for folks that are up and running already, that already have funding, that is. So my question to you is, you know, you've been doing this for a little bit. You launched this on your own platform. How long do you see yourself continuing this progression?
Well, as I said, I mean, I've been at this for 15 years as in the particular industry that I'm in. So I consider this my life's work. So there will be many stages, I'm sure, going forward. So I'm seeing this, taking this through different phases as we go on, and as long as the opportunity exists. So this is my commitment. This is my life's work. So there's no going anywhere from there.
There's no going. Okay. All right. So I love that attitude, and I love that hunger, and I love the fact that you constantly are being a chameleon with this. So now let me ask you this. As a person that's in media, it seems like to me there's an opportunity to, you know, as a matter of fact, the owner of this radio station also has a newspaper, In Touch News newspaper. How can he benefit from your company?
All right. Well, the media industry is a very particular industry and holds a very special place in my heart. One of the challenges, for example, that newspapers have all over the country is that they have to compete against all of these behemoths online who are consolidating and who are sort of capturing all the eyeballs. So it's hard to compete for advertisers because advertisers are the bread and butter of any media business. So one of the challenges that a newspaper business has is to attract advertisers, but in order to attract advertisers, it has to have great content, right? And so one of the things that we're exploring, and one among the set of tools that we've built, we're able to write articles, for example, with our platform. So you're able to generate articles at scale. You're able to generate ideas for articles at scale. So it means that if you had a journalist who was working on, you know, one story per week, that journalist could potentially work on 10 stories at the same time because they have the tools to help them to produce faster, right? Able to get more out of your current resources, to be able to feed the machine a lot more information in a quicker time so that you can attract more eyeballs to your websites and to your different platforms where you advertise. And so this is what tools like these enable. You're able to research, you're able to write, you're able to distribute at scale. And it doesn't matter how small your organization is or how large, right? So firms like Reuters and the New York Times and these guys are far ahead with some of these technologies. In fact, a lot of the news and sports reports that you read on the internet are written by robots, right? They bring all the data, the stats, they put it together, and it automatically writes the stories. So when you read a story, a news or sports story, it's automatically written. It's not written by a human being, right? Most people don't know this. But these are the opportunities that are emerging now for smaller publishers. And so using these technologies is an opportunity for you to scale up the production of content so that you could sort of manage your resources better and attract more eyeballs.
So would you say, as an example, I have my show, I have 3 years of content, plenty of articles. As a matter of fact, I had a conversation with the owner. I'm like, man, I need to write, but I really don't have the time. But I have all the transcripts, you know, these are all recorded. Are you saying that I can have my own article on in the newspaper and it be done pretty quickly?
For sure. So what you could do, for example, is there are multiple tools online that you could take the transcript. Once you have the transcript in a written form,
right,
you can plug that into our software and you're able to write your articles, you know, as much as you want. So like it speeds up the process is what I'm saying. So yes, the short answer to your question is yes, you're able to do that.
So would you also say then, for that matter, anyone that has a podcasting format, because right now, you know, the VCs and, you know, the iHeart radios and all these big media companies are really pushing podcasting and streaming and things of that nature, which I was mentioning earlier. With that being said, now this allows a podcaster to become a media company, right? If they start transforming this stuff into articles, right, newsletters, correct?
Exactly. Because that is the internet is made up of words and pictures, right? At fundamental level, right? The more words and pictures you're able to put on the internet and point advertisers to you, is the more money you will make from the internet, right?
So then that leads me to my next question. Does your platform also help provide pictures too?
No, but it will be in a few months, because one of the capacities that our software has, what the technology has, is you're able to simply enter a description of a picture that you want to create, and the AI can actually create a picture from scratch, right? There are a lot of ethical issues around that, obviously, but this is where the technology is going. So very soon, a lot of the articles that you see online won't be pictures taken on the street or stock pictures from somewhere else. These will be original compositions created by an AI, right? A lot of the digital worlds that we're going to create out of the metaverse and all of these things, all of these things will be created by AI software. People will simply go in, have an idea of what a picture I want to create, type it in, and the AI will create the picture, right? In terms of voice production, there are tools out there that are able to take your text and convert that into a narrative that you can then convert into your podcast. So if you're a writer who wants to become a podcaster, but you don't necessarily want to record one, you simply write your article, publish it on the platform, and the AI narrates your text as a narrator, and it sounds like a natural human being, right? So there are all of these technologies out there in the wild. In fact, I would share with you that a lot of the Disney movies that you watch, a lot of the voiceovers that you hear are AI voiceovers. So a lot of the background noise, the hey, it's in the background, yeah, all of that dialogue that you hear in sometimes the animated features. Many times those are not voice actors; those are actually AI voiceovers, right?
So let me backtrack a little bit.
I'm going.
How do we support you in terms of like what's the cost of doing business with Hello Scribe?
Well, the good thing about HelloScribe is that it's a SaaS company, software as a service. You pay a monthly subscription. It starts at $49 per month, and we have various programs and discounts that run throughout the year. So you simply sign up, pay $49 a month, and you have unlimited access to all of the tools that we've created.
Now you said 40. You said 49, 50.
Yeah, $49, $50 a month. Yes.
All right.
Right. And we have a team plan that you could get for you and your team of 5, and it's like $149 per month. So you get 5 seats for the cost of 3. And you can buy an annual plan or a monthly plan. So it's no different than any of these monthly subscriptions that you pay for. The only difference here is that all of the content that you need, you're able to produce at scale, whether you're a small newspaper or a podcaster or a humongous communications organizations. All of these tools have been created fit for purpose for professionals in the industry.
So how does, and it comes up with the copywriting for you, like it comes up with the nice headlines. Like, is there any way you could show us within the next 16 minutes of how this thing works if I share the screen?
Oh, absolutely. I can, in fact, I can do that right now. Let me just bring it up right here.
Yeah, like, so how can we turn this right now, this interview, into a Hello Scribe commercial and ad and story on In Touch News Radio?
All right. Okay. All right. Let me bring this up. If you don't mind, I'm going to share my screen with you.
I don't mind. I need to give you authority to share the screen, right?
Sure.
Boom.
Okay. All right. I'm about to share my screen. Now, we've designed our software to be very easy to use. This is a demo account. And get started is very easy. You simply create a new project here. So we're going to say
Power Moves Radio Show.
Okay. All right. So what we've done is we've created them to be very simple. So we have 10 categories: headlines, messaging, brainstorm, social media, copywriting, quotes, questions, media pitch, and articles. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to do is let's create a jingle, right, for the Power Moves podcast, right? I'm going to write the copy for a jingle for the Power Moves radio podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go into the copywriting section here. And from the list of options here, you have a number of options that you can choose from: Facebook ads, Google ads, magazine ads, print ads, TV ads. You can create all kinds of ads. Okay, so here we go. We're going to say, and it's very simple: give me an ad for the Power Moves radio, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit more about this. Is a podcast that give me
where,
some, yeah,
where celebrities,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
athletes,
Mm-hmm.
key influential executives,
executives, and it mm-hmm.
share how they make money.
All right. Share how they make money.
Attract power. And earn respect.
And earn respect. I like that a lot. And earn respect. Right. So I'm going to click generate. What the AI is going to do, it's going to create multiple iterations of what an ad might sound like, right? Or read like. Okay. So
making magic. I see it.
There you go. All right.
All right. So Should I read some of this stuff, or you?
All right. Do you
scroll?
want? All right. So you get like each output gives you like 10 options. So yeah, right.
So we hear the sound of a loom.
Right. Here we
Voice one, episode one. Everything starts with mindset.
go.
The
Right.
Power Moves Radio is where celebrities, athletes, key influencers share how they make money, attract power, and earn respect. Start your journey to financial freedom today by clicking on this link or going to powermovesradiopodcast.com. On episode 2, we're talking about shaking things up, literally, with guest Sarah Blakely, CEO, runaway model, founder of Spanx, voila, brand, fame, and more. See you soon. Man, that does sound good. That sounds real good. And you basically, I could just, put whatever guest in there.
Exactly. Right. So you can go through and you can
So what's interesting, so what about the sound effects? It says we hear the sound of, so where do I have to submit that sound effects myself? It's giving me directions?
Right. So it gives you stage directions essentially. So it says this is how you would write a radio script. So you would just pass this off to your producer or whoever and do your voiceover, and you have the music in the background. So it literally writes a script as a copywriter would write it, to essentially say, okay, go produce this one. And remember, these are just 10 options. You can get 10,000 options if you want to, right? So you can go through and it just generates unlimited ads until you are satisfied with the one that you like. You could just save it to your notes and edit it later, right?
Wow.
And
wow.
this is
okay.
available.
All right. So let's go into a quick article, like
right. Cool. All right. So let's do an article, right? An article, I choose, usually we have different kinds of articles that we can write, over 15 different options. But here, usually what we do is start with an outline. So give me an outline for an article about, what would the article be about?
About this show, like this show we're doing right, your interview right now. So we want to turn this interview into an article.
Okay, podcast about the purple and its guest, Paul Thompson, CEO of Hello Scribe, right? The article talks about the future of AI and AI in the media industry, right? Is that okay?
Yes.
All right, cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply click generate, right? And then it will give me some outlines, right? Cool. All right. So let's say I'm just going to add this here. And I'm going to add my outline to the article. Now, if you have a transcript, it's easy. You can just drop the transcript here, separate it into different bullet points or sections. And how it works is you simply hover over the section for section 1, right? And click continue. And it will write you an entire section, right? Now, obviously you have to go in and edit all the details, but in less than 5 minutes, you can have a 500-word article. Right.
Wow. And it even does credits. Yes. Atswani 2009. So you could do your papers on here.
All right, let me show you. That's not all. Let me show you. We have access to the latest verified news stories right here, all of the top stories from all the top newspapers in the world, right? And you could go in and you could add a reference to your article, and it leaves you a reference here in the quote that you could go ahead and you could use. You also have access to over 200 million research papers.
Wow.
Right, so you can go in and you could go in and you can cite a paper, right? I'm just being very random here because I'm not searching for a particular thing, but let's say we found it right here. we could simply add an abstract to our article, and I have it cited here. We could also go in and we could also rephrase. So sometimes you want to
So hold
paraphrase.
on. So hold on. So will this? So how do you still maintain the personality and the flavor of the of your article, being that it is, robotic? It's
All
it's
right.
it's it's like I say, it's like flavor in your ear. It's that Craig Mack futuristic.
I got you. I got you. So there are two things to consider, right? Um, the first and most important part is the human touch, right?
Right.
And AI doesn't understand emotion. It doesn't understand feeling. It doesn't understand anything like that. That's our job, right? We understand nuance and context. We understand all of these different things. Um, and so what we are able to do now as a writer, a journalist, whomever, what you're able to go in and do is simply add your own flavor to it. Um, Hello Scribe is about using AI in an ethical way. So we're not trying to replace the job of the professional. We're simply trying to make your job much more efficient than it currently is. The second point I want to mention is that we also have something that's very unique to our software, in that you can go and you can create an article in the writing style of your favorite publication. So I'm able to choose the kind of article I want to write, enter a brief summary about my article, choose some keywords that I want my article to include, and then I could go and I could say, give me an article in the writing style of Forbes.com, right? And what it will do, it will generate an article in the writing style of Forbes.com or any one of the top publications in the world. So that means that
so essentially,
Mhm.
then I can write articles, send it to Forbes, send it to Inc. magazine, and it would be like seamless. So, but the question, then my follow-up question for you then is this: with this being AI, does it also learn my style? Does it learn
Yes. So over
how
time,
I flow, like my humor and all that good stuff?
So over time, because remember now, AI works with a whole bunch of data. And so over time, what will happen is that as you continue to use our software, we're able to fine tune according to your writing style. This will take time and use. However, the answer to your question is yes. It will learn your writing style. And over time, once there's enough data, it will be able to generate the writing style of whoever. So for example, we have a feature here, which we call an advanced option. So you can go
wow, right in the style of David Ogilvy. So right in the style of marketing geniuses. Wow.
So you can go in, and as long as you have stuff published on the internet, it could pick up your writing style, and it will publish an article in that particular writing style. Right.
So let me ask you this, man. How have you been faring in terms of, like, what's your low-hanging fruit in selling your application, your solution? Like, what do you where has your success been so far?
Well, our success so far has been among creative professionals. As I said, the time that it takes to come up with ideas. To give you a small example, when I was a copywriter in an agency, right? How I used to come up with ideas is that I used to block my time into 30-minute blocks throughout the day. And then I would discipline myself to say, I need to come up with 100 lines of copy in these 30 minutes. Sometimes I made it, sometimes I didn't. But that's just how your mind works. Now, for somebody who works in an industry like that, with a high pressure, intense, time-driven scenario, for those folks, they have found our tool to be incredibly efficient in helping them go from 0 to 1, literally in seconds. So we have had success among creative professionals as well as PR professionals. Again, a lot of time-sensitive things they have to do. They have to draft press releases and media statements. They have to write articles. And so we have had success among these folks as well.
So how do we support you? how can we, because I believe, our publication here, In Touch News, this media company, can utilize your services and then some. There's others that we can promote you. So how do we promote you, man?
Right. Well, we're on all platforms. The first thing you could do is to share our link, helloscribe.ai, on all platforms. That's the easy thing you could do.
All right. So spell it out. Helloscribe.ai.
Yes. HELLOSCRIBE. Just search for us on all the main platforms, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, everywhere where you were able to find us there, and share the content that we share. That's sort of ground level. We're actually word of mouth is important for us. So I mean, if you in your networks, in your communities, whoever your listeners are, if you know folks who might benefit from what we're doing, just please tell them about us. On the financial tip, we're actively fundraising, and so we're also open to conversations about how we can not only integrate HelloScribe into the work that you do daily, but how you can help us to, raise the funding that we need to scale our business. Because as I said in the earlier parts, we're building HelloScribe in 25 different languages all over the world. Chinese, Hindi, multi-million dollar opportunities in these overseas markets. And so what we really need to boost our presence is really investment in, advertising and marketing to really get our name out there. So those are the ways in which we need assistance right now. But apart from that, I'm just really happy for the opportunity to be able to speak with you, to meet with you. You have been very generous with your time and your advice, and I really, really appreciate you having me on. So this conversation here is doing more than you probably even know, and I appreciate that.
Well, it's my pleasure, because what we do here, man, we connect the dots, we make power moves, and I am going to definitely share your information with some of my friends. As a matter of fact, a person that I want to connect you with is a gentleman by the name of Keith Clinkscales. Do you know who Keith Clinkscales is?
I don't know, but I will.
He's the former editor-in-chief of Vibe magazine.
All right.
And he knows a lot of people in that industry. So we're going to do that. We have to wrap it up. Man, we got your support here. In Touch News. I got you, baby. We're going to make these power moves so we can blow you up. Boom! But once again, this is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, influencers share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. See you next, well, we won't see you next week. Actually, I won't see you for 2 weeks. I'll be in Egypt. I might try to do something, because I'm going to bring my stuff, my equipment out there, but we'll see. Because I'm going to be in the pyramids, you know what I mean? And I'll be 6 hours ahead, so I'll be kind of like a little bit early in the morning. But woo! But once again, thank you, Paul.
All right, what's up?
Power move.
All right.
Yeah.